Welcome here. Today we're joined by Nicole Court from the English Language Arts Council of the Alberta Teachers Association. Nicole is an elementary teacher and she is here sharing with us this morning books that should be in all classroom libraries for elementary schools. Welcome here, Nicole. We're so glad to have you.
Hi, yeah, I'm excited to share some books. I'm definitely no expert, but I love picture books. And I think they are a great way to, share new ideas with kids and talk about just our cultures and the world we live in and kind of explore those new worlds. So I'm really excited to share some of my favorites. All right, so today I'm going to just share some inclusive picture books for K-5 classrooms. As you can see, I said just a few because I really want to get across that there are so many better and awesome books out there, and you can just use these as a starting point to think about how you can create maybe a more inclusive classroom library and how you could use them in your own teaching. All right, so today when we talk about inclusive classroom libraries, I like to go back to the writing of Dr. Radine Sims Bishop, who you may have read about in university when you were learning about becoming a teacher of English language arts, or maybe you aren't a teacher of English language arts and this is new to you. I'm gonna link to an article she wrote about mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors, because I think it's a great way to talk about and think about how the books we put in our classrooms and the books we share with our students really should, reflect their experiences, but also open doors for them into new worlds and new experiences. So today I'm hoping to share with you some books that I think really do that for students. The first book I want to talk about is from last year, I think. It's called The Incredible Freedom Machines. And it's written by Curly Saunders. It is beautiful. It's illustrated by Matt Otley. And what I love about The Incredible Freedom Machines is it basically is mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors. It is all about a young girl who hears about this incredible freedom machine. She uses this machine to find new worlds, and these machines really bring you to see new experiences. And at the end of the book, it's just gorgeous artwork here. Just gorgeous, her as she explores the new worlds. And then at the end, it is just this little young girl and in her comfy chair reading her book in her unfurling world. It was all she would ever need. Just a great book about how books really do give us the freedom to explore our world, even when we might not have the ability to do it in real life. The next book, I just read this like 2 weeks ago. So this is a new one for me. I hope it's new for you. It's called Me and Mama, and it's by Cosby A. Cabrera. And this is a gorgeous, poetic picture book. It's really about the relationship between a mother and a daughter. It's a beautiful expression of love between this mama and her daughter with gorgeous artwork. You can see I always love the artwork. And it also is a bit of a small moment story. I know if people teach elementary school literacy, they've heard about small moment writing before. So this is a really good example of how you could use it as a mentor text with students to talk about not every experience is big, but some are small and those are really worthy stories. So this is beautiful. The next book is Drawn Together. Now, Drawn Together by Minley is, let me look. It's not new, but I had to share it with you. It's from 2018. So a few of the books I'm going to share are not new, but I always worry that someone hasn't read Drawn Together. So I had to share it. It is the story about a young boy who goes to visit his grandfather, and his grandfather and he do not speak the same language. So it is a really great book about communication and that divide that can happen between language, but also age and also culture. Like it's just a beautiful book. It's almost wordless, which really brings forward that theme of that lack of communication. But the art by Dan Santat, who is a Caldecott medalist, and he's amazing. The art really shows how actually they use art to communicate, and it brings them together. And by the end of the book, they can see that they really do have a lot more in common and really a stronger connection than they even knew. Your Name is a Song. I just got this last week, and it is beautiful. Your Name is a Song is probably, okay, as my students would say, I say this all the time, and I'll probably say it like 10 times while I look at these books today, but this is one of my new favorite books. It is. I swear this time. So in this book, this young girl goes to school on her first day, and her teacher has a difficulty pronouncing her name. And so she goes home from school that day and she's a bit frustrated by it. She talks to her mom about it. And as they walk home, the mom tells her how names are songs, and not just her name, but the names of many people in their community and people around the world. So it really brings across the musicality of names, which I've got to be honest, I never really thought about until I read this book, but it really made it quite beautiful to think about how names are musical. She talks about the beats and the sounds that you can hear and the stories that names can tell. And she, when she's giving examples of names to her daughter, she shares African names and Asian names, Middle Eastern names. And there's also a glossary at the end of the book, which is cool because it shares where the names come from, but also the pronunciations. I also like that in the author's note with the glossary, it says, this is how we think they're pronounced. It might not be how that name is pronounced by that person. So I really love how it thought deeply about that. Gorgeous book. Everyone should have it. The Girl and the Wolf is by Katerina Vermette, and it is beautiful as well. It is a bit of a take on the Red Riding Hood story, but it's told from an Indigenous perspective. And I think it's a very beautiful text. Julie Flett does awesome artwork. If you can find any illustrations by Julie Flett, you got to get that book. But this book is just an Indigenous take on Red Riding Hood and how maybe we could frame that story differently, and how the connection to nature, and it's just a really beautiful text. Well worth it in K-12. All of our ELAC executive loves this book. Derek Barnes is one of my favorite authors. I only picked 2 of his books for this talk, so that was pretty good for me. Derek Barnes writes celebrations of Black culture, particularly about Black boys. And I love his picture books because they are joyous and they are exciting to read. They often share just small moments. Like, this is my favorite small moment story, Crown, an ode to the fresh cut. It is all about this boy getting a haircut. It is just the story of a haircut and how amazing you feel at the end. I just got my haircut last week and I felt amazing. And just how you feel amazing at the end of your haircut. It's a beautiful piece because it has gorgeous artwork by Gordon C. James. And I just love the way Derek Barnes writes. He just makes you feel good about the world we live in. And I think that is a really important thing for kids to hear. Like, these small moments can be really big for us too. Okay, just this other one because it's new, and I really want to make sure, I know lots of people have read it, but I really wanted to make sure that you got it. So this is another Derek Barnes book. It's called I Am Every Good Thing. It is on like every top 10 list. So maybe you've already heard about it, but I was scared you didn't. So here it goes. This was actually one of our picks for ELAC Stacks. Every month, ELAC gives out 10 copies of a book that we would love to recommend to our members. And this was one of them because it is one of the best picture books of the year, easily. Again, another joyous read from Derek Barnes, just celebrating children and celebrating how amazing kids are and that you are good and magnificent. And I just want to share one page. You can see that Gordon C. James's artwork is just as beautiful as in Crown. I'm just going to share one piece from this book. I am Saturday mornings in the summertime. I am 2 bounces and a front flip off the diving board. I am hilarious. I am the life of the party. I am that smile forming on your face right now. When I shared this with a teacher at my school, they connected it to a writing project that lots of teachers in elementary school, I think, do, where they write poetry about themselves at the beginning of the year, I am poems. And they thought this would be a great mentor text for something like that. Okay. Oh, another new one. Zero Local, Next Stop, Kindness is by Ethan and Vita Murrow. And it is a book that really is about themes of friendship, community, and kindness. It begins on the Zero Local train, and all of the art is just beautifully done. It starts with a gender fluid character who comes onto the train, and they are drawing in their art book, and they share art with some of the other people on the train. And as they share kindness with people, a little bit of color gets added to the illustrations. You can see some of the yellow here already. But then after a bit, that character isn't riding the train, and there are some, like, a negative situation happens, and this young girl in the book decides to kind of learn from that first character sharing their art, and she starts to share their art, and it's just a great example of how small acts of kindness can kind of shift a situation. So it's really beautiful. It's wordless, which I love when there's a really good wordless picture book coming out. And I think that all students would really, really enjoy this book. This would be a definite K-12 book too, as I think all picture books are. Oh, I love this book. Okay, this one's called The Paper Kingdom. It's by Helena Curie, and it's illustrated by Pascal Campion, and it is awesome. This young boy is sleeping in his bed one night, and his parents wake him up because his babysitter can't come, and they have to go to their night job. They're janitors of a large office building. So he goes with them. He's not very excited, but he goes and he helps. He doesn't really help them at all. Like a child thinks they're helping them. But he walks around with them, and they talk to him, and they kind of create this imaginative story about the building. And it's got beautiful themes of creativity in it, but also the story that they create about the king of the building and the dragons that work there. It's very interesting because they talk about how when that young boy is king, when he's an adult, he's going to be a better king, and he's going to make sure that all of the dragons like take care of the building and don't make a big mess for other people to clean up. And that way his mama and papa wouldn't have to do that. So I just think it's a really gorgeous little book. Okay, this one is older, but it is worth sharing because I always worry again that people haven't read it. The Roots of Rap. So The Roots of Rap came out a couple of years ago, but it is so awesome. I share it with kids a lot and they really gravitate to it. It is really a story about the roots of rap. And it's written with beautiful lyrical writing. It is a reminder of where rap and hip hop come from, jazz and funk and folk and folk tales, and poetry. A really good example of how hip hop and rap there's something to be proud of. They're a real art form, and the art in the book is kind of graffiti-like, really, really beautiful. You can see here. The art in here is really, really lovely. I would suggest this book to everyone. I know that I've shared it with teachers of all grades, and kids at all ages really, really, really connect to this book. Oh, this is another new one. I have a feeling it's going to win a ton of awards. It already has won a couple, I think, but this is going to be one of the big ones for this year, I think. It's called I Talk Like a River, and it's written by Jordan Scott. And it is about a boy. It's a bit autobiographical from Jordan Scott. And he stutters. And when he has a bad speech day, he struggles through the school day, and he goes home to his dad. And on those bad speech days, his dad takes him out to the river. And he talks to him about how you actually talk like a river. You bubble and you spurt and it's just really, really beautiful text about speech and language and communication. So while this book is about speech and stuttering and the difficulty to communicate, it's just a great text also to reflect on those feelings of loneliness, particularly at school, and that feeling when you might not fit in exactly to the mold. Oh, this is just a nice, fun one that I had to add in. How to Be a Pirate, written by Isaac Fitzgerald. How to Be a Pirate is just a really fun read for younger readers. I share it with lots of grade 1 and 2 classes, and it is about this girl, Cece, who sees some boys playing in a tree house, playing pirate, and she wants to join them, but they tell her that girls can't be pirates. So she's a feisty little thing. I like her style. And she goes home to her grandfather, and she says, like, well, grandfather, you were a pirate, so tell me how to be a pirate. And he's like, you can tell he does not know what she's talking about. But the illustrations show you that maybe he was a Marine or something of the sort. He has some really beautiful old school tattoos, and he uses them to tell her the story about how you can be a pirate and the qualities that you would need to be one. Here he shares with her some artwork on his arm, and she learns that to be a pirate, you need to be fun and independent and courageous. And she recognizes in herself, she is all those things. So she goes back to those boys and she just tells them, I am a pirate. So she just joins them in play. And it's just a nice read. Uncle Bobby's Wedding is awesome. It's written by Sarah S. Brennan, and it is new. And it is another read that I think is nice for younger readers. This young girl loves her Uncle Bobby. She loves him so much, and they hang out and they have awesome times together and so much fun. And then he announces that he's getting married. And she does not love that because she's worried that she's going to kind of lose out on that time with him. Now, this is a book about a same-sex couple getting married, But I think that the feelings she has really have it's the same-sex couple has no bearing on that. It is just really a book about when one of your family members takes on a new role or moves or joins a new family, how that might feel for you. And Uncle Bobby and his new husband do an amazing job of showing her how they can all be together and all be a family. And then at the end, she realizes life is pretty awesome because now she has two uncles and they can do different things, but they can share with her. So it's a really great book. We Are Water Protectors this picture already shows it. It's already won the Caldecott Medal, so that's a pretty big deal. It is written by Carol Lindstrom. She is Ojibwe, and this book is written about the tribes in America who are working to protect their tribal lands from the oil pipelines that are moving through. And I think it's a really important book because it's a perspective of that we might not always hear in Alberta. So in the Ojibwe tradition, women are considered the protectors of water. And so she learns from her grandmother that she is a water protector. And it's really beautiful, talking about, pride in your traditions and your culture and the importance of, keeping your environment safe. I think that, this book definitely has a perspective, and that would be talked about if, in your classroom, you would talk about this as one perspective. But I think it is an important perspective to discuss along with the other ones. Oh, The Day War Came. It's written by Nicola Davies, and it is very, very well written. It is through the eyes of a young child who is all of a sudden a refugee or a displaced person in Europe. And it talks about how this young child is basically looking to join a school or like looking for some kind of connection with people. And through a small act of kindness, she kind of gets some hope. So I think it's a really, really beautiful look at refugees and displaced peoples, and a good way for young students to connect to that very difficult topic. So, okay, this is old. This is really old, but it's just one of the best. So you just got to have it. It's called Sometimes I Feel Like a Fox, and I think it's from 2015, but I think I share it every time I share picture books with anybody. It's just one of my very favorites. It's by Daniel, and it explores themes of uniqueness and the connection to the animal world and how we all, have kind of different spirits inside of us, like different feelings. And I think it's really a great example of that. It also is written from the perspective of Danielle, who comes from the Anishinaabe tribe, and she talks about the culture from that tribe and the totem animals that are very important. And I think the art in here is just gorgeous. So I've seen lots of teachers use this as a mentor text. It's one I recommend all the time. And it also could create a really beautiful, beautiful art project if you were studying autobiography, pieces of writing. Gorgeous. An Ordinary Day is another new book that I really love. It's written by Ilana K. Arnold. And it is just a beautiful discussion about life and death. And I think it's one that sometimes we shy away from with students, but it is really not something we should, in my opinion. I think it's a really good topic to discuss. It shows families of all types. The book takes place on one ordinary day where one family on one side of the page is experiencing the birth of a new member of their family at home, and the other page is experiencing the loss of their family dog. And it's just a really, really gorgeous book. I like that it shows diverse families and shows different people so that students can see themselves in the text, though it isn't just specifically about, a culture or anything like that. It's just showing that this is just ordinary. This is who we are in our communities. Like the Moon Loves the Sky, Bikini Con is beautiful. It is prose that is inspired by the Quran, and it is just a celebration of parent love. It reminds me of I Love You Always Forever. It reminds me of that. And you know that people enjoy a book like that so much. And the art in it is gorgeous, just gorgeous. And I think she just does a beautiful, beautiful job of sharing what parents might want for their child. This is one of my favorites of the year. I really mean it this time. Hannah Salyer has written Packs, Strength in Numbers. When I saw it at first, I thought, ooh, the cover looks cool. But I was like, I'm not sure really, I wasn't really sure. And then I picked it up at the library and it is awesome. It is a celebration of community. It is about human community, non-human community, and but it's really it's a book about the names of groups of animals. So it talks about how bats in billows, we bats take to the skies, forming a cloud. Flitting and flapping, yipping and yapping, we form strong bonds with our family. And I won't read too much from it, but it's gorgeous. And so it talks about all different animals and what they are called when they are together. And really a great example of how together we are better. It's strength in numbers. And I just love the artwork in it as well. It's really beautiful. So this is a must for any classroom library. Oh, another new one I just got. Auntie, Uncle, Drag Queen Hero is amazing. It's really, really well written. And it is about this boy's uncle named Leo, who's an accountant and he works for this big company. And then on the weekends, he is Auntie Lotta, a local drag queen. And then one day, Uncle Leo, he is a hero, like he does something heroic. And so the mayor of the community decides they want to honor him. And Uncle Leo is worried because he doesn't know if he's Uncle Leo in this situation or Auntie Lotta. And his nephew says, you're both. So the nephew says that Uncle Leo and Auntie Lotta should both accept the award. I think it's a really great book because kids are going to enjoy it, but I know that adults are going to be able to really connect with the worries of this character as they basically are coming out in a really public way. And I think it's really well done. Woke, a young poet's call to justice. And it is amazing. The poetry in it is beautiful. The artwork is gorgeous. And it's just different poems about the woke movement, about Black children, Black people, and the Black Lives Matter movement. It's really, really well done. So, and that's a picture from Packs, Strength in Numbers. Together we are better. I think it's just a lovely illustration and a great way to talk about how an inclusive classroom library is really important, because together we are better. And it's really important for us to make sure that we are not only connecting students to themselves, but connecting them to the world around them, and making sure that we're helping our kids to become great community members. So together we are better. And that's it.
Nicole, thank you so much. That is absolutely amazing. And as you can see, Nicole is passionate about books and passionate about her classroom libraries and helping teachers out. So we really appreciate that, Nicole. Nicole, I have a question. The PowerPoint that you created, or the slideshow that you created, will that be made available so that people who want to take a look and go through this book list at a later time on their own time? Is that possible for them?
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Then take a look for that in the description of the video here. You'll have that link. Also, as Nicole said, that she is currently the president of the English Language Arts Council of the Alberta Teachers Association, and they do a ton of great work. Nicole was just saying earlier, you heard that, they give away free books to their members all of the time. They put out newsletters with other books that you need to be able to be reading. So if this is something that is intriguing to you, or if you're passionate about literature as well, or getting books into the hands of kids and in your library, I would love for you to join the English Language Arts Council. There will be a link on how to do that in the description as well. But this is a group of passionate teachers who are really excited about helping other teachers across Alberta. So if you're an active teacher in Alberta, you are welcome to join a council at no cost to yourself. And so the description will let you know on how to do that. And one thing that I would say to the viewers is, as Nicole said at the beginning, she has such a small amount of time to cover such a huge topic. So undoubtedly you're thinking, oh, Nicole, you forgot this book.
I know.
And so if there's a book that Nicole forgot, throw that in the comments below. We would love
that'd be
this
amazing.
video to be a spark for teachers across Alberta, or even across wherever teachers are seeing this, a spark of what's the book that Nicole didn't mention but is a must-have in your inclusive classroom library. Share that with us, because we're going to continue to look back. And I know that ELAC is always looking for new books to be able to share with their members and to be able to give away. So if you have one that every teacher should have in their library, add that to the comments below. We'd love to include that. Nicole, again, thank you so much. Cool. We appreciate your time today. You are absolutely amazing and inspiring. So thank you for doing what you've done here today.
Thank you for setting this up, Chris. I hope everyone gets a few new books for their libraries.